find the derivative of the function, there is no need to simplify your answer. The function we are considering here is f of x equals the square root of 2x minus 3 all over the sine of 3x. We will need to use the quotient rule here, as we have a function in the top that is square root of 2x minus 3, and we're dividing that by a function sine of 3x. The quotient rule states the derivative will be equal to the denominator times the derivative of the numerator minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator all over the denominator squared. All we have to do now is find the derivatives left over in our quotient rule. And in both cases, we will need to use the chain rule to find these derivatives. You can see that here we have an inside function of 2x minus 3 and an outside function that is a square root. And over here in this other derivative, we have an inside function that is 3x and an outside function that is sine. So as we go through and find this derivative, we will have to use chain rule for this derivative and this derivative. And one other thing really quickly to point out is that the square root of 2x minus 3 is the same thing as 2x minus 3 to the 1/2 power. So our inside is still 2x minus 3 for this derivative, and the outside changes just a little bit so we can work with the power rule with a 1/2 power. So our derivative turns out to be the sine of 3x times the derivative of this thing. That ends up being 1/2, leave the inside alone, subtract 1 from the original power, so that's the derivative of the outside, and to that we will multiply the derivative of what's on the inside, just this 2x minus 3. Use the power rule for that, and you get the derivative of all of that on the inside of the parentheses is just 2. To that, we are going to subtract the square root of 2x minus 3. And over here, we have to use the chain rule again. The derivative of the outside function, sine, is cosine. 3x, leave the inside alone. So you will leave the 3x alone. And to this we are going to multiply the derivative of the inside. And the derivative of 3x using the power rule is just 3. And again, that is all divided by sine squared 3x. There's your unsimplified answer.